So this is small version of, light version of a piece I've been inking today, and that I'm gonna be doing the colors later on. But the thing is, I want to try to step away as much as I can from my my usual use of colors. So I'm gonna be working on that layout. Actually, it's a lighter version of the art, and it allows me to put quick colors, see if I'm heading towards the right direction. I also want to put some text around and on the top. So right now I'm trying to find a layer where I could put, maybe I don't really need colors on this. I just selected this area here, and that might not be the best option actually. Expand this a little bit. Create a new layer. Gonna look like a lucky strike. Color, but I'll come back to maybe a less less obvious color later on. right now I'm just trying to figure out how the actual colors of the character, or the ones at least I want to have, for the objects, how they're going to affect the overall tone of what I want to represent. So, okay, this one is going to be maybe a little bit more let's see, maybe make it a little less bright. Alright. When I have some accents of gold on this one, and what I should probably do is remove the shadows, kind of like erase. Oops, that's too big of an erase. There we go. Still too big. Well, this file being so light and in 72 dpi, my brushes are huge because I'm not working at the usual size. So what else do we have here? I'm gonna have to put those accents of gold over everything else. It's only gonna work as a reminder anyway. So gold accents. Here we go. I actually have my tools and everything on another screen, so it doesn't. So I benefit from the full size of the Cintiq, and so I name everything right now so I can remember later what is where, and you can see my tools right now on the other screen. Alright, so I'm gonna pick a lighter color because as I remember that shoe was gold and ivory and blue. On the back, maybe I should put, yeah, so I'm using a dark purple color for the shoe. And I'm only choosing this color right now because it is some sort of, it's actually in the chromatic circle of colors, it's actually the opposite to the yellow, and since the yellow is the major color right now on that piece, it's kind of dictating its own tempo, its own color chart. I might readjust that later if I decide to change the background. I could also look for some reference that would actually hint me into maybe using a different combination of colors for a while, because that would be my natural inclination to oppose colors as they should be in a very conventional way. And then what I do is I usually put a twist. It doesn't really show right now on the piece, but it is the red is super bright, and I might want to tone that a little bit. Where is the red? This is the red. So I'm gonna intervene on the saturation maybe, and then I might bring it a little bit more in the red. Although the red and the brown from the jacket now, although it looks good on the screen, it doesn't really work here. It doesn't pop out. A good way of figuring out if you're right is to actually bring the whole piece in black and white, which is something I wouldn't do right now, though. Of course, we're gonna have accents of blue. Bluish, at least. I don't want this one to be all the colors of the rainbow, and it's getting there no matter what I try to do. So what I'll probably try later on is something that usually saves the day, is to put a filter on the overall image. Yeah, forgot. That is a major influence on the color here. Maybe I should actually play along with that blue reflection. Make it like a blue reflection here. And then, what is that? Highlights. Where are those highlights? Okay. Those are the rim lights. Rim lights. Better name them before everything gets too confusing. What the heck is this? 8. Oh, there you go. You're the one I've been looking for. So now I'm going to change this one. I'm going to change the color of this one. You know what? Let's do this a little bit closer. that's ugly. Sunburn, sunburn. Alright, yeah. That one. Works on the arm. It's actually greener on the screen, on the actual screen, and that's kind of what I want because it's that pale green, retro type of color. And maybe if I can steal it from, there you go. This is what it really looks like. Aqua blue or aquamarine. Alright, and then I'm going to try this here, the highlight. It changes the color. So if this is facing, we should have some accents. Oh, it's changing the color here too. So we should have some accents of that color here and here. And of course, try not to make it look too old. That's only a rough, so I will fine tune that later. Oh yeah, this is a little bit too much. I'm gonna go smoother on this one, maybe change the percentage of. Yeah, that'll be a good uh-oh, what happened here? So try to be consistent with your color at least, because obviously the shadows that I drew in the first place, and that's a common situation, whether you're your own colorist or not. Actually, it makes more sense when you're not your own colorist, that the colorist wants to put his colors and choose a certain light. Although the good ones also try to follow the attention of the artist. But sometimes you want to go a different way because you can see it makes the character pop more. And then there's ways of changing maybe the light source, not do it as it was intended on the drawing. For example, I know already that this area here, this shadow, which is actually drawn and inked with that cross hatching, will have to go if I decide to stick to this type of lighting. Number one, it'll have to go because here, as you can see, it's biting against the line of the contour. So the rim light that I'm applying will cover it anyway, but you want to make things clean. And when you're the artist and you're the only one, I would say, who has that prerogative, when you're your own colorist, is that you can decide to remove this. I would probably either not totally remove them, but put the line in the color of the shadow, because as I'm thinking about it, the fact that there's this green light running full front coming like from here, that means that this cast shadow makes sense. And in a certain way, for a shadow that blurs away on a more distant element, that shadow could be, I could make it accurate. I would just have to push it back a little bit so it disappears. It's not as in your face. I can also probably get away with, where is that? One of those, let me just recenter here, camera. I can probably get away with using one of those highlights as my main highlight from that green that was showing previously here. See, I actually choose instinctively. I choose this one, but I might switch and go for this one actually. So and then I would have to make it run along all the way here. Try to catch one of those layers where I can have this pretty much the same green light here on the bottom as I have it here, and also maybe a reflection on the glasses here. There's going to be a reflection on the eyes, and of course I will try to open. No. Here. Okay, so this is the high-res file, and this one will allow it to see better how this highlight, oops, there you go. This highlight is a little bit on the side, suggesting that the light would be coming this way when I actually want to have it coming this way. So I'll probably have to cheat on that to maybe erase the highlight or make it smaller by putting more color in it and just putting a dot in the middle. Bright highlight. So this is the one I'll be putting in colors full time and completely in with the refined rendering. But for now, bye bye. Oh, of course, I wanted to do a sort of a nod. Where's my red? That's my red, okay. So I'm gonna put some red here. Oh, it's not at full potential. There you go. The button will be red because that's actually, it could be part of the joke around the image. Trying to find some corny quote like those ads in the 40s and stuff like that, or those names from Men's Magazine from the 60s, 40s to 60s. Since it's a red button switch for the rocket pack, and obviously she's gonna burn her butt if she switches it on. It would be a red butt on, or something along those lines. That could actually be designed for. It's going to be a print, no matter what, but it could also be Maybe something painted on the back of a jacket, like a flying jacket or such. I'm gonna bring back all the layers because yeah, they're all here. As for the shadow, I usually, this is a brown type of, I'm gonna remove all these layers which don't make sense. Well, at this point it doesn't see much, but when the shadows are put in the right place and totally, the image actually stands by itself like a regular, like all the volumes are here. For example, I'm gonna open another one. I'm gonna open, oh, this one is gonna take forever. Same here. Jeez, well, okay, let's go for this one. So yeah, usually when you just do the shadows and when you just show the shadows and you hide all of the other layers, the image should stand by itself. Actually, with the right amount of shadows and the right rendering of shadows, you immediately know where your lights are going to be. The only thing that you will have to deal with by choosing a color for your lights and knowing where to put them right is then to tone them down maybe in some areas and bring them a little bit more forward in some others, depending on what part you want to emphasize. For example, of course, although there's a lot of flesh here shown, I still want to emphasize on the face and the eyes, so I'm going to be working on that. Particularly with the highlights and the shadowing on this illustration. There's too many things going on here. Right. There you go. Lazy bones. Those files are so heavy now. Lesson learned, prepare your files ahead of time. When you know you're gonna have a session. Oh, thank you so much. You're being too kind. Alright, so let's see. So, okay, I'm hiding the line art on this one. Oh, maybe I should switch to a bigger. There you go. You can see that. Oh, the piece kind of stands by itself already, just with the color alone. It's like you almost don't need the line art except for the spooky face. Right now she's really scary because she doesn't have any eyebrows. But aside from that, I mean, if I was to... This is the cosmetics. Okay, logo and title, we don't care. Highlights. Let's see if we can hide the highlights. Color highlights. There is a filter with a texture that probably won't show on the computer, but alright. So interesting. There you go. See, there's a filter here. Cheekbones I will leave. The face shadows I will leave. And the only line art I will show is this one. And there you go. So there's been a lot of changes of gradients in the shadow, on the shadow layer, actually locked shadow layer. I can actually change the color partially depending on how the light hits it. And that's why you have those reddish and purplish shadows. But if you remove the art and the extra hair, you already have a good idea of how the volume actually work together. It's pretty much already here. And that's the point I wanted to make, showing all those different layers as they should appear on a final piece, at least the way I do it. So now we're bringing back all the layers, highlights and all. There we go. Everything's here. Let's take one last look up close at that pretty face. There you go. And goodbye, Miss Betty. Do you want to save? No. So back we are with this one. And of course, that's a pretty good start. Oh yeah, I said I would give. Let's try to see if I can get a green. It's close enough. All right. Highlight. Can never remember which one it is. I think it's number 5. There you go. Okay, number 5. So as I said, I was gonna put a little reflection on the goggles here. There might also be some green. Of course, here it doesn't really apply. And I might try to put some here, but then again, it doesn't really work with the, it's not the right color. I was kind of lax on that. So this, and I just realized that I put a highlight on the button, but if I want the idea to be convey it efficiently, I have to keep it red and probably make it brighter. Like use a brighter red and put it over so I can get a little bit of the attention. And then what I usually do, so I don't forget, the next day if I'm working on something else, what I would do is I would actually come here. There you go. I would actually make a note. So the line art for the circle is going to be in a different color, so it doesn't, it's here to accentuate the focus on her, of course, but I don't want it to have it like as dark as the line art, because that would be, it's a little bit too present at the moment. And not to mention, we have a tangent here, which is something I usually try to avoid. What I could be doing is either outlining it like this, and then I would have to outline, of course, every part. So I don't know if this is, remember, this is all rough, so it doesn't need to be super finished in details, just indications for the actual color work later on. I would probably have to do the same here, and then here, wherever she connects somehow with oops, that's right, Windows 8. And so that would be the overall idea for the color. Now I hide this one, which has all the notes. I might as well. Yeah, but it's distracting right now, so I'm going to do another one. And I'm going to use a bigger brush, of course. Could use a font, but I will do it by hand first to see how much I want it to occupy. Oops, I need a bigger eraser. just one option. Might as well be given the Nah. I'll just give it a rest for now. I'm just going to be preparing the flats, meaning the flat colors for this one, and then I will start another session maybe later this week when I get to the shadows, something like that. Alright, this is a first. It's not easy. It's kind of dissipating my focus, but hopefully I'll get more used to it. And I'll think of zooming in so that you guys can see more precisely what I'm talking about. I'll try not to move. There we go.